The handcuffs bite into Kang Dae-hyun's wrists as the judge lifts his papers to read the sentence. Then the courtroom doors slam open. A tall black woman walks straight down the aisle, holding a leather file against her chest like a shield. Cameras spin toward her. Reporters stop breathing. Dae-hyun's head snaps up, and his hands start shaking for the first time in 15 years. "Your Honor," she says, "before you sentence him, there's something you need to see." Nobody in that room knows her name yet. Nobody knows that the man in handcuffs once saved her life on a freezing street corner, back when she was 10 years old and had nothing but a little brother's hand in hers. Some debts don't get repaid with money. Some get repaid the day everyone else has already given up on you. Dae-hyun's convoy screeches to a stop on a frozen harbor road, and before the dust even settles, 4 bodyguards are already out of the cars with weapons drawn, aimed at a shape crouched low in the headlights. It's a girl, maybe 10 years old, jacket torn at the shoulder, sneakers falling apart at the sole. Behind her, a smaller boy shakes so hard his teeth click together like the gun safeties just did. The guards don't lower their weapons right away. This part of Seoul has taught them that anyone can be a threat, even a child, even in the cold. Dae-hyun steps out of the car himself, boots crunching against ice. "Put the guns down," he says, and they obey instantly, because everyone always obeys instantly. He kneels in front of the girl. She doesn't flinch. She doesn't look away either. A guard holds out a folded stack of bills. She stares at it like it's an insult. "We don't need your money," she says. "We need food." If you're new to this channel, welcome. We tell true event amiibo stories from real lives, real streets, and real second chances, and tonight's story is one you'll be thinking about long after it ends, so stay with us. Her name is Amara. The boy is her little brother, Malik. Dae-hyun has controlled shipping lanes, nightclubs, and men twice her age with a single look, and yet this 10-year-old just made him feel like the guns had been useless the whole time. He pays for a hotel room, food, doctor. He tells himself it ends there. Doesn't end there. 3 nights later, a doctor steps into the hallway with his mask still hanging off one ear and says the words no one wants to hear. Malik is gone. An illness that should have been caught in time. Amara doesn't cry where anyone can see her. She sits by the window with her knees pulled to her chest, watching the street below, and something behind her eyes is already working, already calculating, already deciding who she's going to become because of this. Dae-hyun offers a government home. He says no. He offers private care, strangers paid to look after her. She says no to that too. Then she asks him the only question that matters. If everyone is scared of you, does that make you a bad man? Nobody has ever asked him that. Not his lawyers. Not the men who kneel when he walks into a room. Not the women who smile at his money and never once at him. For a reason he can't explain even to himself. He brings her home that night. His house does not want her there. Some of his people whisper that she'll inherit everything he owns. Others whisper that she'll expose things buried for decades. One man says nothing at all, and that silence is the loudest thing in the room. Han Sungmin, Dae-hyun's closest advisor. Always the first to smile, always the last to raise his voice, always standing one step behind Dae-hyun's shoulder like a shadow that learned how to shake hands. Years pass. Amara grows into a sharp, watchful teenager who notices things nobody else bothers to notice. Why do certain security cameras never point at certain doors? Why do files vanish from the office right after Sungmin visits? Why does every employee in the building lower their voice the moment he walks past? By 16, she finds numbers that refuse to make sense. Money leaving accounts that should be untouched. Payments for services nobody ever delivered. And every single thread, when she pulls hard enough, leads back to the one man everyone trusts without question. The same man teaching her right now how to search for a thief he already knows is standing beside him. She stares at the spreadsheet glowing on her laptop screen at 2 in the morning, and for the first time in her life, Amara is afraid of an answer before she's even finished the question. Tell us in the comments, if you were Amara, would you show Dae-hyun what you found, or would you keep digging until you had enough proof that no one could deny it? The flash drive burns a hole in Amara's pocket the entire elevator ride down. She doesn't run. Running gets you noticed. She walks past the security desk with her laptop bag slung over one shoulder, nods at the same guard who's waved her through 100 times, and doesn't breathe normal again until the elevator doors close behind her. Upstairs in his office, Sung-min is already staring at a security log that shows exactly which files she accessed that night. He doesn't call anyone. He doesn't raise an alarm. He just closes the laptop, folds his hands on the desk, and waits, the same way he's waited for 15 patient years. Amara spends the next 2 weeks building her case in silence. Bank records. Shell companies registered in 3 different countries, all sharing one signature dressed up in different names. Wire transfers timed to match invoices for work that was never done. When she finally lays it all out on Daehyun's desk, her hands are steady even though her heart isn't. He barely looks at it. "You don't know this man like I do," he says. "I know what the numbers say," she answers. The fight that follows is the worst one they've ever had. He accuses her of jealousy, of trying to tear apart the only family she has left. She accuses him of choosing comfort over truth, of loving his own blindness more than he loves her. Neither backs down. Something between them cracks that night in a way that doesn't fully heal. What she doesn't know yet is that Sung-min already found out. Her desk drawer is open when she gets home, papers shuffled just enough to send a message. Nothing stolen. Nothing broken. Just proof that someone was there and that someone wanted her to know it. Her phone starts making a strange clicking sound during calls. Files she saved to a private folder disappear overnight. A car she doesn't recognize sits outside her building for 3 straight evenings, engine running, headlights off. She packs one bag. No note. No goodbye. Just an empty room and a plane ticket bought in cash under a name that isn't hers. Daehyun searches for months. Private investigators. Old contacts overseas. Nothing comes back. He tells himself she left because she couldn't handle the truth, that she abandoned him the way everyone eventually does. He's wrong and he won't find out how wrong for 15 more years. 3,000 miles away, Amara buries herself in a law library that smells like old paper and stale coffee, studying financial crime and international banking law until the sun comes up more nights than it doesn't. She keeps a copy of every file Sung-min ever touched, hidden in 3 separate places, backed up in 2 countries. She isn't running from Daehyun. She's building the one case that can save him, brick by brick, waiting for the day he needs it most. That day arrives faster than either of them expects. 15 years later, a headline lights up her phone screen at 6 in the morning. Korean business tycoon Kang Daehyun arrested on fraud charges. Amara sits perfectly still for a long moment. Then she stands up, walks to her closet, and pulls out a leather file she has been building since she was 16 years old. She doesn't know yet that Han Sung-min has spent those same 15 years making sure this exact day would come and that he never once expected the girl he underestimated to still be watching. The courtroom doors are still swinging on their hinges when the whispering starts. Amara doesn't wait for permission. She walks straight to the front, past the prosecutor frozen mid-sentence, past the judge's raised eyebrows, and sets the leather file down on the evidence table like she's been planning this exact motion for 15 years. 'Cause she has. "Your Honor," she says again, steadier this time. "Everything in this file is notarized, time-stamped, and cross-referenced with bank records from 3 countries. The judge waves her forward. Her hands don't shake once. Daehyun stares at her from the defense table, still cuffed, still stunned, watching the 10-year-old girl who once refused his money grow into the only person in the room who can save his life. He opens the file. Shell companies registered under names that all lead back to one signature. Wire transfers routed through banks in 3 countries, timed to match invoices for work that was never done. Forged documents laid page by page next to the real signature they were built to copy. Across the room, Han Sung-min's jaw tightens. The prosecutor leans over the table, flipping through pages, and his confident expression starts to crack in real time. He looks at the judge. The judge looks at Sung-min. "This is absurd," Sungmin says, standing too fast, his chair scraping the floor. She's fabricating evidence to protect a criminal. Every document is notarized, Amara says. Every transfer matches a record you don't know I have, because you never imagined a 16-year-old girl was smart enough to keep copies. If you've made it this far, you already know this isn't just a courtroom drama. It's proof that the people written off too early are usually the ones who end up changing everything. Sungmin's voice rises. His hands shake. 15 years of calm, polite, trusted loyalty comes apart in front of live cameras. And the man everyone believed in reveals a version of himself nobody in that room has ever seen. Not humble. Not loyal. A man who spent a decade and a half building a case against his own boss, brick by brick, counting on nobody ever noticing. The judge calls an immediate recess. Bailiffs move toward Sungmin before he even finishes his sentence. Within the hour, the charges against Daehyun collapse, and a new set of charges start forming against the man who built them. Outside the courtroom, in an empty hallway, Daehyun finds Amara standing alone, file still tucked under one arm. "Why did you come back?" he asks. "Because 15 years ago, when everyone else ignored me, you didn't," she says. Neither of them says anything else for a long moment. Sometimes the biggest debts get repaid in silence. In the months that follow, Daehyun's empire changes shape completely. Shipping contracts turn legitimate. Nightclub backrooms close for good. A new foundation opens under both their names, funding shelters, scholarships, and legal aid for families exactly like the one Amara came from. One winter evening, they walk back to the same street where they first met. Same cold air. Same kind of frozen night. Except this time, they're the ones handing out food to children shivering on the corner, and Amara kneels down the exact same way Daehyun once did for her. The people you help when nobody is watching may become the people who save you when everybody is watching. If this story moved you the way it moved us, hit subscribe and turn on notifications, because you don't want to miss the next true event story that inspires. Drop a comment and tell us which moment hit you hardest. Your story might be the reason someone else keeps going today.